the one thing I'll point out there, you made mention to the investment, and I think there should be a distinction made too, that you're investing in not just a single player, but you're investing that he is going to be better than the next guy or the next guy or the next guy after that player. So when you're investing your time and your energy into Thomas Robinson, and it's not just like we're going to give you $2.8 million your rookie season, it's that you're investing in the facts that they're going to be better than Damian Lillard, than Harrison Barnes, than Andre Drummond, John Henson, the players that we're taking after. Because at the end of the day, a player will develop or he won't develop. You're going to spend money on somebody at that spot anyways. But whatever you're putting into that player is part of your reputation. It's part of what your long-term viability in the league counts on as well.
Yes.
So a guy like Jeff Petrie, who has an incredible career, an absolute incredible career, that the last, 3 drafts that he went through end up looking just like dogs, or, the last 2 drafts, I don't know what it is, but, poor decisions were made again and again, and they reflect poorly. So, you're only as good as your last draft pick, I guess. And Jeff Petrie ends up looking bad on the way out the door when, he had some incredible, incredible picks. I mean, Kevin Martin has played so far above his pick in the draft, over his career. Gerald Wallace, Jason Williams, all of these. Yeah, Hito, Peja Stojakovic. I mean, Brian Grant, guys who put in, huge history,
Corliss
that
Williamson.
have huge lineage in the league. Jeff Petrie goes down as the guy, even like if you look at his whole career, he did miss with Olivier Sejois, which Tariq Abdul-Wahed he becomes before he joins the Kings.
Doobie.
He missed with Quincy Doobie, but overall, he found solid players all over the place that really helped the franchise along, and he's going to be remembered for missing on Damian Lillard and his last true draft, and that's kind of a tough pill to swallow.
It's too bad.
You're Jeff Petrie.
Yeah, it's too bad. I think obviously there's more to it than what you see on the surface. Obviously, we know, and we've talked about it. One of the reasons why they drafted Thomas Robinson is because they were afraid that the previous ownership group wasn't going to shell or pony up the money to re-sign Jason Thompson, so they needed a starting power forward to go along with DeMarcus Cousins. So you go with Thomas Robinson.
Yeah.
And then
kind of wish that Petrie would have just walked away earlier and said, this is not what I signed up for. They had him take a giant pay cut at one point, almost half his salary pay cut. He should have, like at one point, just said, you know what, this probably isn't worth it to be here.
But you look again, like those 2 drafts, the 2011 draft and the 2012 draft, you could say that those were more Maloof influenced drafts than Jeff Petrie influenced drafts. I mean, them getting Jimmer Fredette pretty much at this point seemed like a money grab, a marketing grab to get him in here. I'm sure a little bit had to play into it.
He cost them too in that draft. I mean, you have to remember.
And they got John Salmons too.
Yeah,
and I think,
but I always back in the draft.
But I always see I see the logic behind why he did it. Instead of taking Jimmer at 7. Said, all right, let's move back. We can get John. Again, John Salmons is not anything to write home about, but they needed a small forward. We know, like for years, the Kings had needed a small forward, and that was the best that he could come up with based on the budget and based on the restrictions he faced under the old ownership group. So instead of drafting Jimmer at 7, you can move back, still get your guy at 10, and get somebody who helps you at the small forward position. But it didn't work out. I mean, John Salmons was not, he wasn't the answer for the Sacramento Kings. But at the same time, you look, he drafted Isaiah Thomas at 60. He managed to find him or take him, and he was a guy. They brought Isaiah in for a workout, and ironically, that was one of the workouts both you and I missed.
I know.
We didn't come in that Saturday. I remember vividly too. We had some prior engagements taking place, so we weren't able to come out and cover that. But the irony of Isaiah being, their best draft pick out of 2011, kind of makes up for missing on Jimmer. But at the same time, 2010, they took a chance on DeMarcus Cousins, and I honestly didn't know that DeMarcus had all this skill that he has, because I didn't really think that he was able to showcase that enough while he was at Kentucky in his freshman year. But that was a phenomenal draft pick, despite some of the issues that we've seen here in Sacramento. He's very talented, and in 2009. The debate, are they going to get Ricky Rubio? I think it kind of came out of nowhere that they got Tyreke Evans, that they drafted him. You see some of the mock drafts back then having Tyreke projected maybe like at 8, I think, to the Toronto Raptors at the time. But, Tyreke realistically has turned out to be the better player of the two. He's not an all-star, but he was the right choice to make. And it was a little bit of a gamble, but, he went with his gut there and got the guy who ended up being the eventual Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, but was he better than Steph Curry?
That's true.
That's the other guy he passed on.
Yeah, that's
true. But then again, Johnny Flynn was right there too, and
exactly.
They chose Rubio and Flynn at 5 and 6.
Yeah,
and let Curry slide to was that 7 or 8 that Curry went?
He went 7.
Yeah, what a mistake! What a mistake! Well, that's David Kahn.
Yeah, that was tough.
Kahn took 4 point guards in that draft.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think he missed on the one that was the best of the lot.
Yeah, he got all those point guards. Didn't he also draft Ty Lawson, but then he traded him to Denver? Right?
Yeah, drafted Ty Lawson, I think, at 19 and traded him to
draft all those point guards and you miss on the best one.
But he drafted someone else too. Did he draft
he drafted Flynn and Rubio back to back.
Well, yeah, but he drafted someone else at the end of the first round, and was it Nick Calathis that didn't play?
I'm looking now.
He traded the fourth. He drafted four point guards in the first round.
Okay, he drafted Rubio 5, Flynn 6, Lawson at 18, and Wayne Ellington at 28. He was a shooting guard.
Oh, Wayne Ellington. Okay, my bad. It wasn't. Unless he traded somebody for some, I don't know. Either way, he missed because there were better players that he passed on. But
yeah, that draft. I mean, you look at the top 3. It was Blake, Hasheem Thabeet, which was a mistake. James Harden. You'd obviously redo that as probably Blake, Curry, Harden. At this point, I would go Curry,
and then Evans,
Harden, and then Evans.
Yeah,
which is right where he was drafted at number 4.
Right where he's drafted. Yeah.
So, and then you have DeMar DeRozan. I still think Tyreke has a little bit more talent than DeMar. It was DeMar DeRozan, but DeMar DeRozan has been an all-star now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, just it's funny to look back. I don't even think we were planning on like looking back and reflecting on past drafts. But
yeah.